Hey y'all, this is Caitlin with Usborne Books and More, and I would love to take a couple of minutes to tell you how Usborne Books can help you teach your child to read and teach your child to love reading. And we know how important that is. And tell you a little story about Rosalie, who was a 6-year-old who was a very reluctant reader. She hated to sit down and work on reading because she didn't have the confidence to allow herself to progress. It was hard and it was frustrating, and she didn't like not being good at it right away. Until I, her mom, got this. The Usborne very first reading system. I hosted an Usborne party and I got this as part of my rewards, and she loved it. It was a game changer, and I want to tell you what she loved about it. First, the illustrations. This is one of her favorite books that's later on in the system, Late Night at the Zoo, but they're gorgeous illustrations, and she loves to pause and look through them of each one before she reads, and they really keep her interested and engaged in the book. Another thing that she loved was that these books are dual readers. It has a simpler text and a more complicated text. So I'll read this. The night was cold, the sky was black, the window rattled, tap, tap, tap is what she reads. This is the first book, so this is where you're going to start out for each child. Sit, Sam, sit is what they would read on this page. There's the more complicated text on each one, and they take turns. And that really takes the pressure off her. She doesn't feel like she's on the spot, the only one doing anything up at the board, answering math problems. She feels like we're in it together. She loves that. Another thing that she loved is what I call the focus points. In the back there are guidance notes that tell the parent, and for her sake the child, what they're going to be encountering and working on in each individual book. And she loved that preparation, the mental prep that she could do, looking at what was coming and being ready for it when it came. She loves that. Another thing that she loved are the reading comprehension activities in the back. She and I would just sit and do them verbally. You could write them down if you wanted, but it reviews not only the words and the phonics that she's learning in this book, but it also makes sure that she understands what she's reading and is getting the story in her head. That's why she loved it. And I love it also because there is this parent's guide with tips and instructions on how to use our system. It also explains how and why it works. It's a phonics-based system. It's called synthetic phonics, and you can read all about it, or you can ask me about it. And so about halfway through this, it transfers from being a dual readers to the books that they can read on their own. And around that same level, they're able to move on to a couple of more fun books. This is the Usborne book of Farmyard Tales. It's a combined volume. It's about 20 stories, and it is also a dual reader. And what I love is that this simpler line of text at the top makes sense by itself. She can go through it and read this on her own and read the stories to herself. Or, as you can see, there's a more complex text at the bottom, and we can take turns again reading through, and this just adds a little more body to the story. Again, there's these beautiful illustrations. And let's see, it's a nice hefty hardback book with a puffy cover and a ribbon bookmark. And let me tell you why my 4-year-old son also loves this book. First is there's a read-along CD. Loves it. He loves to sit and listen to it and flip the pages and follow along the stories. But his favorite thing is find the duck. Every one of these beautiful illustrations has a duck to find. And he, at 4 years old, will sit and look through and listen to the CD and find the ducky on every page for almost an hour, which, as any mom of a 4-year-old knows, oh, there he is hiding, is a miracle. So at the same level or a little bit before or after, depending on what your child is excelling at, you can do Ted and Friends. This is a collection of the Usborne phonics readers, and it also is a book on CD and a collection, and these titles are available individually or in a collection like this. And each book works on a certain set of phonics. This one, it starts Big Pig and Fat Cat, and you can see how that would work. But they also have the Find the Ducks. You can see them there, and they also have flaps on every few pages that my kids just adore. They love this book. And we have lots more titles than just the 12 found in there. And after that, when your kids are getting a little more confident with their reading, they can move on to these early chapter books. Billie B. and Hey Jack are best friends, and they're good kids. They are not brats like so many of the early chapter books that I've come across. I just love that the lessons that they learn in each book This one is about being who you are, and this one, The Best Party Ever, is about thinking of others. And I love them both. My kids are not here yet, and I refuse to read them to them until they can read them to themselves as a little incentive. But I love them, and I'm excited to read them with my kids. And I hope that I've shown you how Usborne Books can help you so much in teaching your kids to read. Thanks!